I'm joined now by Brian Decker. He's the owner and founder of Decker Retirement Planning. Welcome back to the show. Let's talk about something our viewers hear about a lot, but maybe all don't often understand. It's having that financial plan. What exactly does a financial plan mean?
Let me start with what it's not. A lot of people think they have a financial plan if they have statements. Statements are not a financial plan. Neither is that pie chart that they point to that shows how they're diversified. A financial plan is a written plan that will cover some things that we'll talk about in a minute.
So when someone hands you this big stack of financial statements, how do you turn that into a financial plan that that person can use?
It has to cover several things, so let's go down the list.
Okay.
It has to cover their sources of income. So we're a math-based firm, and in fact, if someone goes to our website, deckerretirementplanning.com, we will give them a sample plan of what we'll talk about right now. So we list on the spreadsheet their sources of income, Social Security, retirement income from their portfolio, pension income, rental real estate. We total it up, minus taxes. That gives annual and monthly income with a COLA to age 100. If people know how much money they can draw for the rest of their lives, there's incredible peace of mind. And then on the right side, we have their portfolio. We have their cash, safe money, and risk. So we can have detailed discussions about risk reduction and how to optimize each part of their portfolio.
Brian, who watching right now should have that done?
I think anyone within 5 years of retirement, they need to know if they can retire, if they're within 5 years, and if they're in retirement, how much money they can actually draw.
Okay, take us through now how having that financial plan works once you get to retirement.
Okay, if you were within 5 years of retirement, Nisha, you could find out how long mathematically you would need to work. If you're in retirement, Nisha, you could also find out if you're drawing the money that you should. 90+% of the people we meet with are underutilizing their portfolio because they're so afraid of overspending it.
Brian, is 65 still that magic age for retirement, or are you planning for people earlier and later?
It depends on the assets that they have. 65 is magical because healthcare expenses are greatly reduced by Medicare.
Can people come in, even during the pandemic, and talk with you and talk about the financial plan?
Of course. We have a lot of information on our website, deckerretirementplanning.com, and they can get a copy of their sample plan.
So if you're thinking that actually sounds really helpful to me, I need something like that, we have your firm's phone number and website on the screen, everybody. Again, it is deckerretirementplanning.com. That is the website, and the phone number is 833-717-3030. Be sure to contact Brian and the whole team there at Decker Retirement Planning, and they can create that plan, that financial plan for you. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
I thank you.